Hi guys, Boat here once again with more Wargame Red Dragon. This is actually a replay commentary, and well, the reason for that is because I was playing this game in midnight, or at midnight, and yeah, I'm playing with Mr. Lively and Le Jour de Gloire, or however you pronounce that. Let's just call him Le Jour. The Day of Glory or something? Does that mean? I don't know. Yeah, those are all random, so I'm not on TeamSpeak playing with them. Mr. Lively is a viewer of mine, so it was kind of nice to play with him around the middle and just together attack the enemy. We are playing against a team, so I think they were actually communicating because, well, one, they were all already ready when we joined the lobby, and two, I went into neutral mode and I didn't really see any name tags or anything like that. They just started and just attacked, and I didn't really see like markers like AA or tanks or RD here, RD there. It's just like occasional attack markers. Anyway, I am playing with a USSR deck going left towards Mchl. I have some MI8s with VDV90s and an MI24D with a Spetsnaz GRU squad. I have some BTR 80s with Morskaya Fehotas, some Urals, BMP1D with a Monostrelki, and two T72 OBR 1987s, and those are really good with those 80 gems and everything. Another BMP1D with Monostrelki, and two Bucks. One of those supply trucks is of course for the tanks, and the other one is for the two Bucks. Mr. Lively is going towards the middle with a I think East German deck. Yep, looks like it. SPW 80s and 70s, probably with like Rock Regiment and LSTR. Two Strellas, a Tor, T72 M1, two of them, and a BMP2 with I have no idea what. On the right we have another USSR deck, I believe, MI24V, going up in the front with those Iglas, K29 TBs, quickly countering or encountering the American AA or American air deck going towards the right. As you can see, a lot of Dabs, Blackhawks. So yeah, we have American Airborne going right, we have American Armored going left, and we have I think a Norwegian deck going towards Gregory. So a really nicely built up enemy army. Cluster coming in from these, I think M270s. Yep, M270s, those are really good. And at this point, when I was moving up, this Kiowa actually spotted my armies, my units, and that actually triggered a Nighthawk attack. And you will see that that does quite a lot of damage to these tanks. Luckily, you can only target one unit, but it cripples the T72 in the back, I think. Don't know if it was the one in the back, but it completely crippled that, so I need to redirect one of these Zeros to fix that. In the middle, Mr. Lively is encountering all these Fallschirmjägers, the CV9030Ns with those autocannons, and the Waha Regiment just quickly get annihilated. SPW is holding back these transports, which is kind of funny. Just one SPW holding back everything. On the right, Le Jour is actually setting up a defensive line. A lot of Delta Force and Light Riflemen. And with those Super Dragon missiles, they're actually really good against like APCs because they have a fast, well, kind of a really short reload time, but those missiles are just fast enough to actually deal with any APCs moving up. On the left, the American Armor shows up. Two M1A1 Abrams in the front. M1A1 heavy, well, I just call it heavy cannon. I don't know if that's actually what the HC stands for. But two of those, two Chaparrals, two PVATs. Just a really good loadout. BMP3s taking shots at the Blackhawks, taking them down without a problem actually. But sadly it's not destruction, so no real use in destroying those. Do wonder if the Spetsnaz keeps them spotted. Yes, it does. Really cool. Alright, so at this point everyone is kind of just setting up their units. The enemy is leading with +2. They're already 74 points ahead. There's a Super Cobra on the right taking down one of the BMP3s. Also trying to target the Skrezhet, but did he actually go down? Nope, one of them went down. The other one actually survived with 1 HE or HP. Two seaplanes going right. Tunguska M is microed. Good micro by Le Jour. Le Jour de Gloire est arrivé. So the Day of Glory has arrived? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was kind of lazy in French class. Mod shoots in 90s. Those were probably in the BMP2s. Going ham on the Stormers. LSTR is coming in to have some fun as well, but quickly being fired at by the CV90s, which is not really good. These are really expensive units. 35 points each. Preferably used against like really heavy tanks. Aardvark coming in with its 12 bombs. I hope those are cluster. Otherwise it's gonna do quite a lot of damage to like infantry as well. Good. It only killed a, I think a Screzjet. Puffs are a little bit damaged, so that'll take a little while to return to the battlefield. I call in a K52 to kind of deal with the PVATs on the left. I also have an Mi-24D, which I'm just gonna move up to try to keep his guns turned on. And even if he turns them off, the K52 will spot him and the Mi-24 can take him out. At least that's the plan. So since Mr. Lively does not have any defenses here, I quickly move up one BTR-80 with, I think, a Morskaya Fehota squad to try to defend Gregory. And at this point, I know that they have two M1A1s here in this forest. So what I do is move up these BMP-1Ds, try to draw the attention of this M1A1, and in the same time, I move up these T-72 OBRs, and we actually get a really nice sight shot on one of them. The other one shoots the other tank. I have two T-72s here. And while I fall back with this one, I actually take out one of them, and the other one gets a nice direct hit as well. In the meantime, I move up VDV-90s to try to deal with these PVATs and Abrams. The Kiowa is kind of being really annoying though, so I also move up some Manpads there. VDV-90 with that Vampire taking out the other Abram. But now the enemy counters with a lovely Nighthawk strike. And sadly it does hit the one that was kind of doing a better job. So he's gone, and this other one is on 1 HP. Mi-24D being moved up, but sadly I forgot to move up the K-52 to try to take out the PVATs. Let's see if that was actually necessary. Yeah, if I moved them up a little bit more, I could have probably taken it out, but it might got shot down by the Chaparrals. So since those M1A1s are destroyed, he's moving up the HC Abrams, which has taken out my Spetsnaz Gru, sadly. But I also have to fall back with a VDV since that Kiowa is just going ham on these wounds. One squad is already halved. Move up some more Modus Relicus and VDVs, and the BMP-1Ds and robots will just stay behind. So I bring out a lot of Iglas. 2 Igla squads coming up to go like towards this area to kind of secure this general area here. And I move up some more to go towards the left side. Another Seed assault on the right does get damaged by the Tunguska M, which is nicely microed by the day of glory has arrived. VDV-90 is in this town. Let's go into neutral mode and see what he has. Just some Delta Force. If he moved up now, he would have probably cleared those out. But you never know. It's the fear of the unexpected. If we go into neutral mode on the left, you can see that I'm basically just moving up the Mi-8s to try to spot whatever he has here. And, well, I'm just throwing these away. I don't really need them. I'm just throwing them out. The Mi-8 does actually take out one of these Chaparrals. So it's already a win for me. The D-Eagle coming in to try to take out my tank, which it actually does. And my Bucks do hit it, but do not destroy it. I immediately move them up towards a different location because the enemy is kind of pinpoint with their artillery. Speaking of artillery, I was actually buying some of my own in a minute or two. So my Morskaya Fehota, as I said, just defending the command here. We are leading with, or we are gaining with +1, not leading yet. The enemy actually counter-attacking here in the middle. Coming up against Wach Regiment, Matschützen, and the tank in the flank. That's just not going to end well at all. M8 AGSs. Lost line of sight on something. Fighting Falcon coming up towards the middle to try to deal with these Wach Regiment. I do turn on the Bucks, but sadly we're just out of range. So that's a chance missed. Another Mi-8T assault / make the enemy use their ammunition / recon. There we go, just gives me an idea of what the enemy has around here. So something with autocannons here, Chaparrals there, Abrams there, PVATs right here, and that recon. I do move the Mi-27M up to try to take one of those Abrams down, but they just get annihilated. Or it just gets annihilated by those two PVATs on the right, or the left side. Speaking of the right side, if we go into neutral zone, you can see that the enemy actually does not have a lot of units. So if Lejeune moved all of his APCs towards the left side, well, he needs to take out those MI8s first. But if he then moved up, spotted those light riflemen, those autocannons and the grenades from that BTR-90 would have probably just gone ham against those units. T-72 and robots trying to take out these Abrams with some AT gems. I do manage to get a direct hit with a tank, which brings down one of them to really low health. But since they are moving up with those heavy cannons, I just fall back with my tank. This part does get clustered because Mr. Lively was firing his Tunchkas from there, but a nice micro from him made sure that we didn't lose those valuable mortar pieces. Another assault from Soko Lonko. Two freedom fighters coming up as well to try to deal with those. And we're just gonna look at the left side here. As you can see, the VDV-90s are just getting destroyed by the Kiowa with that minigun. I need to use that more often, actually. Let's go into my point of view. Tunchkas absolutely annihilating these Stormers, panicking the CB-90, so the Machutsen do actually stand a chance now. A really nice use of the mortars. But there comes the Fighting Falcon to kind of ruin the fun and destroys these Machutsen 90s with two 1-ton bombs. The CEV, I've not seen this being used in a long time, and it's kind of the equivalent of the British vehicle with like the giant cannon, the AVRE, I think. T-72A being shot at by the light rifleman 90s, which have the 15 AP Super Dragon. It does actually go nuts on some of the light tanks that the enemy has. Speaking of that Kiowa, I move up two Igla N teams, but it is just hard to see them, so I have to like move them around quite a lot. But as soon as that's dead, I can start my counterattack. Speaking of counterattack, I do have a arty piece coming up. Still not being purchased. I don't know when I actually did that. But with that, I can actually start my push. Igla's taking out the Kiowa, but the enemy quickly replenishes that with a new one in a second. And also reinforces the left side with two more MBT-70s. And those autocannons were actually two more MBT-70s. So there's a lot of tanks here. And plus those M1A1HC Abramses are being fixed by the cargo truck in the back. Another Raven going towards the right. Tunguska is still microed. Nicely done by Lejeune. Buck M1 was not microed, but he actually missed that first shot. I hope he turns it off for another run. Which he does not, so that might actually go down. Looks like it did. Yeah, that was sad. Lively holding up nicely in the middle with his Mchl regiment. But now my assault starts. MBT-70 is the absolute infantry killer. It's like the equivalent of the KPZ-70 Kyler. It's really just insanely good against anything that is in forests. BMP-1Ds firing some grenades to try to stun it. T-72 OBR coming in to try to take it down, but the PVATs quickly give this guy everything they got. It just basically gives it every single error ever. I moved up the Ural. It was completely empty, so they can just have it. I was basically using it as a recon. But well, yeah, we moved up a little bit on the left. But there comes the D-Eagle to destroy the VDV-90s and the BMP-1Ds. Setting me back another, what is it? 25, like 50, 60 points. Although it is Conquest, it kind of sets me back in terms of units. So at this point, the enemy is basically defending, since they have a lead of +2 and a point lead of about 127. So they are just basically relaxing in the back, just reinforcing whatever they have. As you can see here, just light riflemen everywhere, Delta Force, Humvees, As Recon M8 AGS is coming up. Oh, that could actually be nasty. I hope he unloads these Scredjets fast enough. Does not look like it. Nope. VDV-90s do survive. I hope they hit. Ooh, one of them down. That's good. Second one missed. That is not good. A seaplane coming up. Missile Lively counter-net with a MiG-29. And at this point, I am basically moving up a command to try to neutralize Mchl. And I'm also sending stuff towards the middle to try to take out this place. And we've kind of built up our AA presence. There's just a ton of AA here. We have a Tor, Strela, 2 Iglas, and 2 Bucks here if the enemy actually moves towards this general area. And I just keep moving up AA. Ordered another T-72 for our assault. And we still haven't bought our artillery to start pushing in Mchl, but hopefully soon enough. So, we have a command, a T80 UK going towards right. That is... It's been a long time since I've seen this being used. Holy crap. But definitely worth the money because it will just keep this place neutralized. A Fighting Falcon coming up again. All of our AA firing at it, just not enough. Last missile from the Tor, I think, actually manages to take it down. Another one gets shot down by the Tor and all of these Iglas as well. It does shoot down the Tor, but I think was definitely worth it. Fallschirmjäger 90s on this small hill. So I immediately move up some Mortar Strelikies, a BMP-1D and my BMP-T. Because this hill is really important to actually take Gregory. If they take this, they can just swoop down and take this hill, which would basically cut off Gregory and also make it really difficult to take over Mchl. So I immediately just move everything I got and annihilate these Fallschirmjäger 90s. Anything with grenades is just good. You just don't need anything else. There we go, BMP-1D, just one grenade, that's it. Now we have a slight problem, and that problem is in the form of an Apache. Tunguska M would be able to take it down, but he would have to move it like towards this area or right here. And he's not going to do that just yet with all of those units around. T-72 OBR missing, I think, about 4 times, which really annoyed the living crap out of me. But at this moment, I also fire the Smirch, finally, after a long time. And what I do here is actually fire, like the center of the circle is like around here. Because I know the enemy will fall back as soon as they get smirched and not move forward. As you can see, the tank is still missing every single shot. But I think it does hit the last one before the smirch arrives. Yep, it does. So we have a few good hits, and you will see that the enemy retreats towards the cover of that forest. But I am firing behind it. We have a smirch shell hitting one tank, destroying it. And the final, I think, 3 shells finish up the tank after a nice ATGM strike from my T-72. So, let's go into neutral mode. You can see that the enemy has some MBT-70s, 2 HC Abrams left. And at the same time, I move up my Mortar Strelikis and VDV-90s to kill whatever is here. And we quickly spot the MBT-70 with these robots. Mortar Strelikis, being ambitious, firing with a 14 AP RPG, VDVs coming in and showing who's boss, taking out one of the MBT-70s with those vampires. And the second one gets shot down quite easily as well. At this point, I was kind of certain that the enemy would just bomb this general area, so I just quickly fall back with my stuff. So we also neutralized Mchl, we have neutralized Gregory and Elena. We just need to take one of these to get a lead, so that's pretty much what we're fighting for at the moment. T-72 M1 actually hitting the Leopard, and we do manage to spot that command, which we just quickly mark. There you go. And the Tunchkas are just gonna unload on that command, which is actually a 140 point. It's like an LAV, pretty much. So I try to figure out whatever he has on this side by moving up some T-72s. Taking out one of the PVATs. I ordered these guys to actually fire at the tank, but they kind of disobey all of the orders I gave them. They would rather just fire at the PVATs. BMPT just having a field day there, destroying any APCs moving up. HCs are moving up, so I just move back these tanks and move up my Mi-24D to go ham on those. And the enemy is starting a new assault in the forest. And if you go into neutral mode, that is 80 riflemen. And you can see that that's going to be one hell of a battle. Let's just focus on this for a little bit. Thank God the Moreau killed a few of these M113s, otherwise we would have lost this entire game. There we go. They're actually quite good at hitting when they're being stunned and panicked. With the help of the VDV-90s, 30 of those with robots, we're not gonna have a single problem taking out 80 riflemen. So now you will see how shock units deal with regular units. With the help of the robots, of course. It just absolutely annihilates them. He would have maybe stand a chance if he just split them up and targeted the robots first. And this is just crazy. This is like trench warfare all over again. There we go. Robots moving in to have some fun as well, since these guys are panicked. And the quad PKTs absolutely tearing these guys apart. That is not even... That is just crazy. This VDV squad is still 100%. This one is almost gone. And the enemy's retreating. Freedom fighter coming in. Bucks are almost out of ammunition actually, so I just move up some more Urals. And most of the riflemen are dead. So I move up some more Moreau. I move up my VDV-90s, my BMPTs. I actually had another Smirch strike right here, which made the enemy move up the tanks, the M1A1 HCs, towards this forest. So I just move up some infantry to try to counter those. I was hoping the VDV-90 would actually hit one of those tanks, but sadly they are too panicked and too slow. But we have another squad of, or group of 2 squads. So I just keep them hidden there because I don't want those tanks to fire at us. So we have the forest, we have the right side, we're basically pincering into this general area, which is working nicely. On the right, we still have kind of a standstill. Another Aardvark coming up with, I think, cluster bombs. Yep, trying to take out the T8 UK, which is actually on 1 HP. That is really bad. Robots trying to take out the command. The tank's moving up again. MBD-70 is still alive on the left side. But we have a T-72 here with really good RPGs, or ATGMs. Robots actually taking out the MBT, I think. Yep, there we go. VDV-90s won't have a problem taking out those combats. Actually taken both of them out with 2 shots. Really impressive. And at the same time, I'm also moving up some more Sky Hotas and Moreau towards this hill to try to help out with Mr. Lively's assault on Gregory. There you go. So the left side is pretty much taken. The right side, well, they really pushed Lejour back quite a lot. One rifleman is actually holding up against the Spetsnaz. If he ordered the Moreau to take them out, or at least fire at them, he would have probably just taken it out a lot sooner, which he actually does right now. At least I think so. Oh, come on. Wow. That is one guy that does not want to die. Bombs unloading on the town, damaging these Fallschirmjägers and the FSKs, also stunning the command for a little bit. Mr. Lively's BMP2 is just having a nice day here, stunning the FSKs, which are really good. These guys are elite, have a RX with an insane accuracy and AP, the MG3 and a C7, which is basically an M16. Really good units. So if you go back to the left, 4 M1IP Abrams coming up, destroying my Spetsnaz crew, sadly, which was my only recon on the left side, apart from the Ka-52, of course. So I just moved that up to try to take out these PVATs. wasting a seed missile. The T-72 actually getting hit twice. And at this point, it was kind of too late to fall back. So I just take it out, which was a really lucky shot. And then I just fall back. Feeding my 90s, destroying the remaining 2 PVATs. K-52 keeping an eye on the M1A1s. M1A1's actually moving in towards the forest. And I do manage to get a nice vampire shot to the front armor of one of those. I fall back with those. Have my T-72 OBR take out the damaged one. And the M1 IPs fall back. I immediately move up the damaged one to try to do some damage with the sphere missiles. But all in all, the left side is looking really nicely. T-72 taking out the command. I just fall back with this one because these guys are actually in range. I just let this one do most of the work. And surprisingly, now it misses all the shots. So, we are still in a neutral income situation. No one is really gaining anything. The enemy is leading with, what is it, like 150, 60, 160, what is it, 165 points? Correct me if I'm wrong. But that is a huge amount to actually catch up to. So yeah, the enemy desperately trying to take back Mchl, but with only 3 M1 IPs against all of these units, that's just not going to happen. It's even just one of these tanks is even enough to take out everything. Now I could have moved into Fedor, but what was more important was actually to help around the flanks to try to basically stabilize it. And I just deal with the tanks on the left with another Smirch Assault. And as you can see, that will just absolutely destroy these tanks. He's moving up 2 cargo trucks, but a little bit too late. Actually taking out 2 of them with a Smirch missile. And the other ones get annihilated. Surprisingly, we are actually missing most of the shots. I did call out an SE-24M to bomb this place, which actually did quite a good job. Fallschmagers are low health. I think I actually bombed the leopards instead. Tanks are moving back. I immediately move up my T-72 OBR, turn on the sphere missiles to try to destroy at least one of them. Mi-28 is moving up to have some fun as well, together with the K-52. I don't like the Akula or the Black Shark and K-52 combo. I just don't like it. The Akula just misses most of his shots. Ironically enough, my Mi-28 also misses most of his shots, but that's because we took it down before it even hit. Taking out the Leopard 1A5 NO, which is actually quite a good tank for the price. And that kind of neutralizes the left side of Gregory. So at the same time, I basically just resupply my stuff, move back my helis, get supply trucks to repair my tank, resupply my infantry, and I basically play defensive in Mchl. In the same time, I move up units to fight in Gregory. We spotted that command again, which Mr. Lively's Tunchkas will have a nice time of killing. And these guys are actually really good. 120mm with 5 HE. I think my favorite mortar piece is probably the French one, the V120. It's like LAVs. Those are really good. So that command is dead, and we are finally +1. Lejour trying to assault the Americans out of Elena with 4 T-72As. Actually, surprisingly dealing quite a lot of damage to these light riflemen. But as soon as one of them gets taken out, and as soon as he moves into the town, the rifleman 90s are just gonna wreck anything with those AT-4s. That's just not gonna end well. Left side, seeing another assault. 2 M1 IPs moving up. Iglis taking out the DAPs, and the T-72 taking out the M1 IPs. Another one in the flank, taking out one of them. And the second one shouldn't be a problem. There we go. So I move up my K-52 and my Mi-28 towards the middle. I managed to take out one of those tanks. But an AA piece, which would be the Noah maybe? managed to take out my my KA. So I just immediately move this one back before we lose it. A cluster strike taking out 2 of the 3 Tunchkas. I think he had 3 of them. Might have been more. Might be mistaken. But that is actually a heavy blow. Ooh, the other one, the last one actually gets taken out as well. Not good. So on the right, a major setback. We got pushed out just completely. But luckily, Leisure moves up some VDV-90s and BMD-3s to try to stop the enemy's advance on the east. And Mi-28 comes in to kill off whatever moves out of that place. If you go into neutral mode, you can see that the enemy has quite a lot of stuff. 29 rifleman 90s, 9 light rifleman 90s, Stingers for AA, a lot of Sheridans, which is a really good anti-infantry tank, Delta Force, just Humvees scattered all over the place, Kiowas, you name it, and a Super Chinook to resupply everything. So I help out in the middle with quite a lot of VDVs, Morskaya Vejotas, and I think these are Morskaya Vejotas as well. Nope, more VDVs. But those Eric's missiles just absolutely destroy anything. They are just too good. And the danger of those missiles is that because they are so accurate, they will just pretty much hit with the first shot. So if you have your APCs close to your infantry, it'll just blow up your infantry as well. So you really need to be careful with those. So since the enemy likes to bomb the middle, I immediately move my bucks up towards the middle. I turn them on to try to take out the Raven as well, which actually evades all of those shots. That thing is just unstoppable. So I call out a Musta to deal some HE damage here and there. I call out 2 BMPTs to deal with the Fallschirmjägers in the middle. And on the right, Leisure, the day of glory has arrived, is trying to stem the enemy's advance in Elena. He could have even moved up from here. Let's go into neutral mode. You will see that no one really covers this road, which is really insane, because if Mr. Lively moved up his AA or just a little bit of infantry and tanks towards this area, he would have been able to take this place sooner. And if he would have moved towards here, or if he moved towards here, he could have also taken out center and just help out in Elena. It's just a really eye-opener that people really don't cover this road at all. I always try to do that because it's a huge advantage when you do. So as soon as we fired the bucks towards, I think it was a D-Eagle, they tried to take it out with the M270s, but I moved them up towards the east. So that's a no-go for you. Some APCs trying to break through the lines. Wow, actually surviving a direct hit from a 73mm cannon. That's kind of nuts. On the right, Leisure keeps advancing with his VDVs and BMD-3s. He should have probably kept those behind a little bit, which he's doing right now. So with the arrival of the BMPT, we can finally start our push. And these things are absolute Terminators. A direct hit from one of the Erics, bringing down one of them to like 30% health, which basically makes that attack a total defeat. But I have more units on the way, so no problem at all. MiG-27 RBF coming up with quite a lot of HE bombs, dealing a lot of damage to the Stormers, just pretty much anything that is in the town, which basically motivates me enough to move up my BMPTs again, and the BMP2s. Left side, 2 Eagles moving up to try to counter that bomber. They have to evacuate because of all of this AA here. Moved up a BRDM-3 to kind of keep an eye on the enemy. And as you can see, if I moved up, these Bradleys would have absolutely destroyed anything that I moved up with 25 AP and the M1A1s and the Chaparrals and the Kiowas. But probably if I just smirched that with like one of the smirches, I would have probably taken out Fedor. But you never know. It's just the fear of the unknown. You just cannot deal with that. 4 BMP-1Ds with Moreau coming up. Also move up a seaplane to take out the Noah. And these guys are absolutely gonna just go ham on the Foshmegers with those grenades. Stormers taking out one of them. I do manage to save the Moreau 38 of them. Holy crap, that's actually quite a lot. And that will have to deal with all of these units. Even the TACOM gets in the battle. But these guys are perfect for basically just holding the town long enough until your better units arrive, like the Mchl and VDV-90s. As you can see, they just get panicked immediately. But that gives me enough time to move some Mchl and 90s up to deal with these APCs. And that's actually Mr. Lively moving them. I should probably go into my point of view. Here we go. Speaking of my point of view, I am basically helping out in the middle with these Mustas, which actually deals quite a lot of damage to these FSKs, and I think I also killed the command with that, so that was really nice. My Mi-28 taking out these M1A1s, taking out one of them at least. I don't know if I take out more. Nope, that's a miss. Another Raven coming up. I have a Yak 1-for-1 to try to bait in these Eagles. Let's see if that actually worked. Doesn't look like it worked. Mi-28 coming up with those giant frickin' rockets. Trying to do some damage. And I think at this point the enemy was kind of realizing that they kind of lost the left, the middle. And they're starting to lose our right side as well, because LeJour is just building up with everything he got. All of these mortars will just absolutely annihilate anything in that place. They do keep fighting though, which is really nice to see. More Moreau moving up together with BMP-1Ds, and I'm just gonna try to flank this entire place, cut off the enemy from behind, so that Mr. Lively can move up reinforcements into the town. BMPs firing at the manpads and the APCs, which actually made me fall back with the Mi-28, because these guys are quite good. They have an insane range. I think it's like 2,800 meters. If we go into neutral mode, you can see that the enemy is still just waiting on the right, not really doing anything. And pretty much everyone is going towards the middle. Yeah, we have Salty here with some Black Hawks, Franek Bia with his tanks and chaparrals, and we have Sokolonko using his infantry in the middle. Some friendly fire in the form of the Fighting Falcons. Counter RT going towards my Mustas, but I just move them up after every volley, so I don't lose a single one of those. I think I did lose one of the Smirches though. Don't remember where I had it, but I think I did lose one of them somewhere. Not completely sure. So my Moreau is finally arriving with the help of the BMP-1Ds and the LSTRs. We just annihilate that FSK unit, and I just keep moving my units towards that place while Mr. Lively moves up his SPWs and BMP-2s. So at this point I actually move up some units towards the right as well, because LeJour is kind of defending. He basically lost all of his units, so I just try to take some pressure off of him by moving some more Skyfielders up, deal with these Delta Force, and with the help of these Nonas, we'll just absolutely destroy these. Two F-15A Eagles taking out my, I think it was a MiG-27. And I do remember taking out one of those Abrams on the right. Let's see if we're correct. Yep, we did take out one of them. Good. Some artillery trying to take out the chaparrals, or at least stun whatever is in there, while the T-72S just keeps behind and waits for the units to arrive. Now we did lose the Morskaya Vehota, but we did quite a lot of damage to those Delta Force, and I have some more units arriving. I think these are VDVs. BMP-1Ds with Moreau again, and I basically use these guys just for the APCs. Those are just way too good. Here we go, Moreau doing what they were meant to do, stopping the enemy for as long as possible, actually giving Mr. Lively enough time to move the BMP-2s up. Wow, BMP-1Ds are actually going ham on these Delta Force. Nice to see that. Moreau pushing out the rifleman for a few seconds. With the help of the VDV from Le Jour and the BMP-1 or BMP-3, we can finally start our advance on the right as well. I move 4 Mi-8 MTVs up with VDV-90s, and that's going to be more than enough to take that place. Now, this BMP-1D just does not want to die. At all. Like, he's like, nope, not today. Yep, that's a massive lull right there. Cluster coming in, doing a lot of damage to this T-72S and Estrella. It's just awful to see this happening. I feel bad for using mine now. I think they were actually firing at it because I had my bucks in there. BMP-2s doing their best to try to take out this M1A1, but when you're panicked, none of your AT-gems are just gonna hit. It's like that scene from Pirates of the Caribbean where the captain of the ship like moves down from the stairs and like the shells hit behind him and just tear the ship apart. It's like that, the accuracy of your AT-gems. You're just not gonna hit shit. So at this point, I move up 2 BMPTs to flank Elena, to try to just move in from here and just kill whatever is back in the town. But that does not end too well. So now we are actually leading. We're +1, we are leading with about 20 points. I have some more Mi-8s moving up. Actually decided to move the ones up that were designated to land here towards the east. Just unload them and move towards this small hill here. Nona's unloading on the manpads. Let's see if we actually hit anything with that. Looks like we have a small delay in explosives. But we're actually managing to damage the stingers. So with the help of my small defending force, we do manage to kind of bottleneck the enemy into this place. Mr. Lively moving up his Machutsen to try to clean out this small hill. Mi-24P stunning whatever is in this place, which actually did quite a nice job. I just love those Mi-24s. But it gets hit by the Noah, I think. Yep. Which is really sad to see. Chaparral finishing it off. So, another Raven strike going on the east, but the buck is Mike Road. Alright, I think now it's time to kind of start speeding up the game towards +2. At this point, I'm basically using my Mustas to try to cover whatever goes towards the middle. Just use the HE to block off the town, and you can see that that's the only way of dealing with frickin' like 60 Rifleman 90s. Those are just way too strong to use anything else. A Nighthawk strike coming in, taking out the LSTRs, or at least bringing them down to 9 men. And my Mustas unloading on that position. I just have 2 of these, but I just fired like 4 or 5 volleys, then I just move them up. Or just move them away from that position. And here comes the shells, and those are just gonna absolutely annihilate these riflemen. Hashtag evil laugh. Ow. He would have probably taken out or managed to get into the town if I didn't RD this. Whew, that was a direct hit. Why do you not split them up? At least use them here. That is just way too much. Holy shit. That's never gonna work. At least not in like mid-end game times. Wow. But I do have to move them up so I have to cancel my fire because there's M270 cluster coming up towards me. So with the help of the VDV-90s that I unloaded on the east, together with the MI-8s that basically stun whatever shows up, we managed to push our way into Elena again. And Lejeune put down a BTR-70K command, which puts it as +2. So still a lot of stormers. And I do think that I keep firing these Mustas on them. Yep, there we go. They're gonna continue their fire onto that place. And that will deal with the rest of these riflemen. Otherwise they would have taken this place. No doubt. Here come the shells. Let's see how successful these were. Could have been better. Oh, that was a nasty hit. That was one nasty hit. I'm sorry, Frantic. I'm so sorry. Those guys are just destroying them. Let's see if MI-24V can kill anything that shows up here. Joachim, that's quite a nice name. Ouch. Yep, nothing survived. That's just painful. Alright, let's turn our eyes towards the east. My VDVs are moving up, just ignoring the Humvees, trying to get into the town so we can deal with the infantry in here. And with the help of the MI-8 MTVs, we just pretty much take out anything that shows up. These are just beautiful helicopters. Those BMPTs that I moved up actually got shot by a Apache, I think, or a longbow, one of those two. There we go. And one thing that you can be certain of is the fact that VDV-90s in a town are just almost impossible to kill. So while these guys hold off the enemy, I move up more Sky Fehotas to try to get into the eastern side of the town. MI-8 MTVs coming up to help with those 50 cals. Actually doing some good amount of panicking damage. And with the help of these T-72As, we can finally push them out of Elena. 2 more Apaches coming up. I have some more BMPTs coming up and BTR-70s. Apache taking out one of my BTR or BMPTs, which makes me push these guys into the forest and break the line of sight. More Sky Fehota, all 45 of them get annihilated by the Apache and the Rifleman. The tanks also get annihilated by the Apache, but the Motorschwelligis, together with the 50 cals, do manage to do a lot of damage to these light Riflemen. I bring out a Tunguska M, and with those Sackless missiles with an insane range of 3,325, I take out, I think, both of these helis? Yep, I do. Enemy brings up an Avenger that takes out both of my MI-8 MTVs, but I really wasn't too worried about them. They did whatever they were designed to do. I move up the fresh squad of 15 men, and with some friendly fire I bring that down to 1 and actually kill it off completely. But those bombs did quite a lot of damage to whatever he had in here. Now, Lejeune could have been a little bit more active here. He could have moved those Spetsnaz up the BTR-90s and everything. But he was basically setting up the defensive line in case my assault failed. Which it kind of did at the moment. But if he moved up now with those Spetsnaz, we would have probably cleared it out sooner. So, the enemy just blobbing up again in this place, which is just a huge bottleneck. T-72 trying to stop it, but we know how that's gonna end. Not good. So I just unload my Smirch and my Mustas onto that position. 42 Fallschirmjäger 90s. Holy shit. How the hell are you gonna be able to defend against that? Like Jesus. Let's go into neutral mode and see what we kill. Cluster coming in a little bit too late. Does do some stunning damage to this Leopard 1A5 though. And at this point, we are kind of in a bad situation. One, we have a lot of tanks to fight against, and we have a billion Fallschirmjägers in that town. I come up with another SU-24M to deal with whatever is in this place. I actually target this part of the town, which surprisingly got emptied completely. But we do manage to kill off those last two riflemen and bring the TACM to 1 unit. 2 puffs coming in to do some seed attacks, but we micro that nicely and make sure that we don't lose it. So the enemy fell back again with all of those tanks. Foshmakers are still in the place, taking out this T-55. Actually missing, surprisingly, with the first shot. 2 BMPTs from Richhh doing their best to take out this longbow. Let's see if he actually manages to kill it. Does not look like it. He does stun it though. And now Richhh means business. He's bringing out all the T-72s. Tunguska M taking out those Cobras without a problem. And these are basically one-hit kill missiles with 7 HE. It just destroys anything that shows up. So what I'm trying to do here is basically do the flank attack again. I know that the enemy is going to move in. So what I'm trying to do is, well, come up from their 6 when they do. So that's why I moved up 30 more Skyfield 90s. And they still don't really have the best RPG, but if you get some, if you get them to fight against infantry, they'll win most of the time. These M1A2s are going to be a problem, so I immediately move up a MiG-27, which damages them quite a lot, bringing down one of them to 1 HE, and MiG-27M is moving in to finish off the rest. One actually manages to survive with, I think, 4 HE. Another longbow being shot. And as I said, here's the flank attack, but it's being intercepted by all of these tanks, which is not really nice. We do manage to take out one of them, which is quite good for these units. But this does give us some time to actually move up our infantry, because those tanks were all just guarding this place and would have shot down whatever was showing up. Nona's unloading again. Let's see what they're firing at. Just the right side of town, making the enemy fall back. And we're just gonna speed up a little bit. Oh, never mind. And this is why I just love the Russian helis. With those rockets, they just annihilate anything that shows up. And that Gush will just... I think my favorite is the Gau. Or not the Gau, the Yak. The Yak B cannon on these. But the Gush seems to do a good job as well. One getting ahead of itself. Pip shooting it down after being hit by the Nasims, which have an insane rate of fire. I think they actually lowered it to, well, to a reasonable rate of fire, because they used to like fire the second missile before the first one even hit. So it's actually a good change. My Smirch attack coming in, making the enemy move up the tanks. I was actually expecting them to fall back, which is why I kind of clustered behind them. But they are starting their advance. Two T-72s to hold against these guys. Let's see how that goes. Both are taking a lot of hits. This one is actually not firing. Firing computer reset, optical failure. That guy's gonna die really soon. This guy does manage to get a few hits though onto this one. But even he cannot stop the democracy charge. Two of my Yak 1-for-1s trying to take out the Eagles. I basically bait them in towards my Tunguska. So we take out those two ASFs, which brings them down to like these F-16 AMs, I think. And now we have a slight problem here in the middle. Luckily, we have some LSTRs to deal with the tanks in the forest, so those are 2 tanks down. I immediately move up my MiG-27 to try to at least kill something, which I don't. I actually lose it. Command gets shot down as well. They're also doing the same here with that Leopard, quickly shooting that down with my T-72. But this Mi-24 is coming up to save the day together with the T-72S. Giving it a good front hit actually. But the Mi-24 finishes that tank and saves the day. LSTR actually stunning the Fallschirmjäger. That's unbelievable. There goes my Su-24M there, by the way. So let's go back into my point of view. As you can see, I'm doing another assault on the right. Longbow is going ham on whatever I have again. I hope our buddy here has some AA, because our Tunguska is out of Cyclops missiles. And he's kind of out of range. Plus, there's a hill in the middle. So, not good. Just gonna have to hope for him to run out of ammunition, I guess. So we have a similar tank push here on the right side. I basically move up my VDV-90s to try to stem their advance. Meanwhile, I move up my GRU squads from that hill, because that's the only infantry I have left at the moment. And they get some beautiful side shots onto these MBT-70s and finish them off. And that basically opens the door for us to take over Elena. Another Raven coming in to try to deal with the AA here, taking out this Buck M1 sadly. I turn on my Tunguska to try to do some damage, but we managed to do just 1 bar. These Ravens are absolutely crazy. They have like 60 ECM, I think. Yeah, that's just crazy. Another cluster assault to try to take out the command here in Jot, which is understandable. But with only 3 minutes left, you should have probably done that sooner. Noah's absolutely beautiful with those 4,550 meters on the planes, 2,800 on helis, 60% accuracy. That's just gonna kill whatever it hits. So my Spetsnaz crew do get stunned by the rifleman, but with the help of Le Jour, I do manage to push up my remaining Spetsnaz without taking too many casualties. So really nice team play, although we are all like randoms in the team. With those Spetsnaz GRUs holding or keeping the rifleman busy, I just immediately move up my BTR-90s with those grenades to try to take them out, blow them out of the buildings. We do lose one of them, but the other 2 will just absolutely annihilate these riflemen. And there you go. Elena is ours. The Hornet coming in. Since Navy SEALs spotted my Tunguska, the Hornet will be able to take it down with his Mavericks. He has 4 of those, but he only needs 1 to take it out. And the Hornets are actually quite decently priced. 160 points. You get 4 Mavericks and 2 Sidewinders, plus that Vulcan cannon, which is really, really good. So with only 1 minute 30 left, the enemy tries to do a lot, or just a final assault, basically to have some more fun. I move in a seaplane to take out one of those Noahs. I do get stunned by the second volley, so I try to evac it, but I think... Okay, I actually do make it out with it, which is beautiful. Another seaplane coming up. But sadly, these guys are out of ammunition. We do manage to take out one of those PIP-3s, which is nice, but we do lose that plane. Su-25T coming up from Le Jour, being fired at by the Stingers, taking 1 hit, but that thing is heavily armored, so you can probably hit it with like 2 pips and not even lose it. So, really nice game. Kind of tricky in the start because we were kind of just trying to defend our own place, but as soon as Mchl was taken over, I could help around Gregory, and we basically secured that. And as soon as that was kind of stabilized helped out on the east, and we managed to take it out. Yeah, 10 seconds left. So, Mr. Lively, if you're watching this, thanks for playing with me. That was a ton of fun. Lejour, you probably don't even... Well, I don't know. Just, if you're watching it, thanks for watching it as well, but you didn't know me, so I bet you're not even gonna watch this video. But yeah, here you go. Here's the kill losses. 7,806 kills. That's quite a lot of kills. 4,470 losses. All in all, that was a really enjoyable game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Here's a little bit of the kills. If you guys want to see any of those, you can just pause it. Mi-28 killing off quite a lot of stuff. There you go. And here's the losses. A lot of losses from the Americans on the left side, but also a lot of losses from the, I think, Norwegian units in the middle. So there you have it. If you enjoyed it, do all the good stuff down below. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one.